What are we looking for? What is our measuring stick for these teams? And for me, I'm looking at solid ultimate use. I'm looking at solid neutral game and positioning from specifically the DPS and supports as we go into this map specifically.
We're going to be headed once again to Ruins first. Is someone's day going to be ruined by this map? Or if not their day, at least a couple of minutes. Union County right now hovering over a fairly classic brawl composition. A little bit of some interesting picks in the backline, though. Whereas Bryant-Stratton considering this disruption-based composition with a Wrecking Ball and Sigma.
Yeah, Union County's comp just doesn't make sense from, like, think about what you want to do, right? You want to speed your Reinhardt in, but Pharah needs time in order to get damage done in order to poke people down. So if your Reinhardt's rushing in, your Pharah doesn't have time to do all that damage that she wants to get those kills, and especially up against Slater on the Widowmaker. Things might get a little tough, but Bryant-Stratton aren't offering that much more of a cohesive composition in their own right. Literally everything under the sun, just here to run it. You know what? I'm here for it.
You know what? They're taking that hors d'oeuvres comparison, I think, very seriously here. We're seeing the sampling coming out in the compositions as well. No picks on board just yet for either side. Both these teams taking it fairly slowly, and I like this flank that it looks like Crispy is going on right now for Union County. Gonna see what they're gonna be able to do. They take out Slater from the back. Huge heads-up play there from Crispy. That's gonna open things wide open for Union County.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly as you should be doing, right? Aim to get on top of that Widowmaker and then dominate the team once you've got that dealt with. Union County are doing a great job of closing the gap. I do have to note, this might be, in modern Overwatch, the most different here, the most individual heroes that I've seen in a single game. This is all the way up to 11. The only matching hero is a Lucio.
Huh. That is interesting.
It's in 2022.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I think that just goes to show while the game might, you know, some people could say it's stale, right? It's been a long time since there's been updates.
Oh my God! Wait, we have 12 different heroes.
State it's ever been in.
We have 12 different heroes now, Jungle God. This is not a drill. It's a Christmas miracle. Union County, though, are still largely in control, so the hero swaps that Bryant-Stratton are bringing in have not been exactly the most effective, but this mine should actually buy them a little bit of space as they get dropped into the back line. It's going to separate the Reinhardt away from this Mercy, and so the healing that a Lucio Mercy provides, albeit as little as it is, isn't going to be there to save them. Lucio and Mercy both go down. That's the back line gone. Without the healers now, it's a bit dire for Union County.
You know what's been interesting so far, Dora, is I think it's been a series of individual plays that have made the difference for both of these teams, right? It hasn't, you know, and that maybe makes sense since these compositions aren't necessarily cohesive. It's been first that Pharah coming on that flank to take out the Widowmaker, opening things up. This time it was the minefield from Opal coming in and taking out Essie and Junior Plays. But in this next fight, we're going to have two support ultimates online for Union County.
Yeah, and one perfectly counters the Gravitic Flux that initially comes out. Holding on to that Valkyrie, though, Essie understands how important it is for keeping this team alive. And after the res, you know you want to follow up. As long as your teammates aren't getting booped off the map, you should be in a pretty good position to do so, especially considering that your main tank is just so valuable to have up and on the field.
That it is, and Essie not even going to need to use a Valkyrie to come away with a fight win here. Union County going to be doing a great job. In fact, they're not going to be coming away with a fight win at all, as Bryant-Stratton able to hold off on that aggression quite well. 3 ultimates coming in for each side. I'm looking at set to open things up in a big way for Bryant-Stratton once they see Union County start to push.
Oh, and that they will throw. Oh, wow, just sticks it to his little toes. Down goes the Hanzo. Union County are not going to be able to find a way in, especially with this Visor into the back line. Immediately shattering it, though. I love this move. I mean, it's 2 ultimates for 1, right? Visor, Nano, or Shatter. I'll take that every day of the week. Now, though, trying to defend the point is Narwhal. With all the pressure coming in at them, that speeded Reinhardt's going to become a bit of a problem pretty quick. But you have to remember, there's not much healing. Because you're running Lucio Mercy, your health bar is borderline non-existent.
Essie still holding on to this Valkyrie as well. I think I would have liked to have seen it committed maybe at the beginning of that last fight, because Bryant-Stratton, they have now pushed Union County to a final fight situation here on Ilios Ruins. First map that we've seen so far looking to go their way at the moment. We're going to see wholesale swaps come out from Union County as well. They're going to go with a very classic dive look.
And we'll see exactly how well that dive works, but OBL down the side lane just completely denies 2 players. The mines are gorgeous. We had one earlier that got the same number of picks for them to start out the fight, and this time it does it again. 100-60 and some change for Union County, and Bryant-Stratton are showing us some really good stuff. For me though, Juggle God, the big change there was throwing on just all the support you can. With an Ana Baptiste, it's not exactly meta at high levels, but when I've done, you know, a good bit of coaching of teams at collegiate levels and stuff, some that may not exactly have the best communication, or when you're going around with this, or the game gets really chaotic between two collegiate teams, something that happens fairly often, just swapping on to having a ton of healing means it's really hard to mess up. And in a game that was as chaotic as that first map was, being the team to mess up less, being the team to have the more reliable backline that's just always going to be there, it feels like a really great move.
It does. You know, we're not going to see that large amount of healing coming out this time from Bryant-Stratton. Now that we're moving on to Wells, same place we ended up last time on our second map as well. We're going to have the Wrecking Ball composition come out one more time from Bryant-Stratton. Let's see how it's going to come up against this double shield of Union Counties.
Oh boy. I'll tell you what, this is the duel we've been looking for. The anime battle out of the skies. Pharah versus Fire. Pharah and... No, please. Okay, you can't fall off the map. That would be worse. You can die to a rocket now. That's fine. There's a rocket. You go down. But as long as you didn't fall off the map, you maintain some degree of dignity.
Oh my gosh, Chubbs almost loses their footing right there as well with a nice concussive blast coming out from Slater. And it's, I think the tail of the tape this time was the Pharah. Slater just doing an absolutely fantastic job taking these angles that you need to take with this Wrecking Ball composition, right? It's surround and conquer, not divide and conquer when you're running this.
Where are we going, Seth? Where are we going, bud? we booping people in spawn? I'm not sure how well this one works. Look out for the hook on your way through. Does manage to get through that junction in one piece. From the skies, though, like you said, Slater's been a bit of a problem, and removing it is going to be easier said than done, especially when you're running not really the most reliable thing to kill it in the Echo. Now the Echo down to half HP, and there's not a support that can help this Echo right now. The Mercy's like miles away. Crispy's at 4 HP. Literally just punch them, direct rocket, anything will do it. But OVL does go down again. Goodness gracious, the environmental kills. Jungle God, please. 3 people just went off the map that fight. 3 people.
That was incredible. 3 people losing their footing. The fight still going the way of Bryant-Stratton, Virginia at the moment, though. We're going to see the DMAC come out as well in the Chubbs. They're not going to be long for this world, and Bryant-Stratton looking primed to take this fight, and potentially the next one looking at the ult economy.
Yeah, they set themselves up in a wonderful position. I mean, oh no, not off the spawn wall.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I hate to see it. That's tough. That is, you know, go home, lick your wounds. It's only 10 seconds off the clock, right? But in your mind, it hurts a lot more.
Yes,
wait, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again.
Yeah, look at this.
Okay, there goes the concussive. You're fine. Dude, Seth just came in. They can't deal with it. No, you can't get another. You're not allowed. Okay, thank you.
That's going to be game, set, and match for Set right there. They're going to be sent back to spawn, but it's a long way to point. Union County probably going to see Set back there, but they've got a little bit of an advantage here now, Door.
I hate that this is kind of working right now for Union County, but after being locked in their spawn, they have found a way out. They can't hit this Tracer for the life of Mira will finally take that one down. A great flux in the back line. Aims to cyberbully this poor Brigida. It was just not in the funnest of positions. Narwhal runs him down. Set keeping him off the point now. It's just a matter of burning that overtime wick a little bit. I smell a boop. There you go. Ooh. One more on to the feed for Set. I think that's like 4 or 5 on this point alone. This Lucio is becoming a bit of a problem.
Yeah, they're gonna have plenty of clips to choose from today, Door, to post on Reddit. I think they're doing a fantastic job. That's gonna be Bryant-Stratton College of Virginia taking the first map in once again, I think, a fairly convincing fashion.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had an understanding that they were good, but it's nice to see it with our own eyes. It's nice to see them come into the game and really just dominate in that same fashion. Please don't have this be off the spawn. Okay, good. This is fine. This is the cleanup at the end. Yeah. They did do a wonderful job, though. And, you know, the environmentals, be damned. I do think Bryant-Stratton, the compositions that they brought out and their understanding of what they needed to do to just play solid Overwatch in such a chaotic environment was their biggest benefit.
Yeah, and you know, I think chaos is the prime word there, right? Because this, you know, control tends to be chaotic, right? Let's just set that standard there. But this was chaotic even for control, I think, today. So just you know, what a wild first map from both of these teams, and You know, whereas in the last matchup, I think we could talk about like the tempo being one of the main contributors to Nova's success. Here, it was just individual plays, I think, and the chaos that was created by both of these sides, just allowing, I think, these individual players from BSCVA to just pop off.
Yeah, especially on the second map, right? That's where it really started to shine through.
Hmm.
But I think the one kind of reprieve that you have, the one nice thing that you can go to rely on, is that the next map isn't a control point. You
Right.
actually get to play something a little bit more structured. And so that's where I want to see them thrive, right? Be able to utilize the map more to their advantage as opposed to trying to go and take these fights in more willy-nilly as they have on control.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're gonna see here. You know, these payload maps, they're a much more again. I want to use your word because it was so good there. They're a much more structured environment, right, Dor? You have very discrete fights that take place. You have very discrete setups that happen. And seeing if BSCVA, I did get that right.
Wow,
If
it's a tough one too.
it is a tough one. Yeah, if BSCVA can modify their play style to adapt to this new kind of map, then they're going to see just more success here. It's going to be up to UCC now, I think, to really put their feet under themselves, ground themselves in, some of these processes, I think, that you have to go through on some of these maps, right? The setup, the staging, to really come away with a win here.
Yeah. Question is also, what map do they want to go to? Their map
Right.
pick, they get to choose whatever they want. So, well, of hybrid, I believe,
Right.
being the next map type. They choose Hollywood. Fun map. A lot of compositional variation that you end up getting here, though. Something like Orisa Diva ends up being really powerful on the first point, but the book's kind of open in terms of what you can run there, despite, Orisa Diva being extremely good. You can run double shield, you can keep bars in the sky, Ash Torbjorn, again, a composition that I put earlier on about hybrid maps and assault maps. It can be really slept on in terms of the power that it brings to the table. On the attacking side, you get everything across the board, and then you head over to point B, and the map type changes entirely. So really varied structures on the map to try and take advantage of, and it relies on your team being flexible in order to take advantage of them.
It absolutely does. That flexibility. In some ways, I think we saw it on that first map. In other ways, we didn't. I mean, we saw flexibility from the standpoint of they'll flex to whatever they want to, either of these teams, in terms of composition or in terms of HeroClix. But yeah, I think seeing that flexibility come out now with more discrete and distinct compositional choices is going to be interesting, right? Let's see the brawl and how they transition potentially into a dive or the double shield into a dive, right? That's probably going to be more likely from a defensive standpoint on on Hollywood. And the counterplay that's going to have to come out, right? Okay, this team did A, let's swap to B. Oh, now they swap to C, let's swap to D. That's the kind of adaptation that I want to see coming out from both of these teams as we move into Hollywood.
Yeah, the big critique that I have for Union County, though, has got to be support comps right now. I want to see something better. Lucio Mercy just does not cut it 99.9% of the time. The heroes are kind of antithetical to one another and what they want to achieve, and thus going with something a little bit faster paced. I do like what they're bringing to the table. It's rushy, it's brawly. It's not exactly like a modern rush comp, but it's heroes that they all look comfortable on. It's going to keep it close range. It's going to keep them grouped up as 6, and the communication is pretty straightforward, right? It's easy to execute on, so Union County are going to have a reliable amount of value that they can pull out of every single fight just based on that alone. The composition they're going into, not quite as straightforward.
Oh my gosh, look at this little bunker that Bryant-Stratton has made for themselves in the corner. This is going to take Union County by surprise. It's not necessarily an optimal place to be, so it's... Oh, they're spotted out quickly, almost immediately by
run point, wall run point. Go point. Someone's made the call, but they didn't make the call fast enough. They've lost to Reinhardt for it. And that point call not going to work. Maybe they get a tick out of this. Nope, not a shot. Bryant-Stratton just shut it down at the heels.
A beautiful heads-up play coming out from Union County. They knew exactly what they needed to do, but the poke damage coming in from Bryant-Stratton was just a little too much for them to really get a hold on point, right? Now that they know what Bryant-Stratton is running, we're not going to see any compositional changes come out. Crispy going to be on that
position juggle.
though.
They don't know about this. Reinhardt's good as dead. Later. Yeah, that was a fight that was going to end as quickly as it began. A shatter in celebration. And finish things off for Bryant and Stratton. Look at this. Celebratory waves by the Bastion. I'd be enjoying myself too.
Yeah, but I can tell you who is not enjoying themselves, and that is Union County right now, because after 2 fights, they don't even have any ultimates built up yet. Neither does well, no, I take that back. Bryant-Stratton gonna have 3 online for this next fight, and look at these, like, weird little places that Bryant-Stratton is hiding to post up.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing hide and go Bastion right about now. It's not a fun game to be on the receiving end of. Especially,
No.
like, it's not just Bastion, it's also Hanzo. The amount of damage that they're pumping out, not a Maywall, no amount of Reinhardt shield is going to get you through. I do think if Union County don't swap a Diva here in the next little bit, they're going to be in a really uncomfortable position. I'd love to see Tubes get over there, but I feel like they're getting a little bit attached to that Zarya.
Yeah, I think they might be. You know, it could be that just Diva isn't in their wheelhouse. I feel like that's what we saw in the last map, and that might be what we're seeing here as well. And, you know, Dor, this, what's happening right now to Union County reminds me of what my coach used to take me through for rotation practice, right? Trying to just stay out of the way of this Bastion, which is got to be hard now that he's in tank config.
Yeah, I mean, it's about LOSing, right? Just about as much as anything else. You can spam him out right about here. If you lock in a Hanzo of your own, you should be in a good position to do so. May Junkrat's not going to get you anywhere up against this guy. He mows down the walls. He's got a Hanzo with him, so compositional swaps need to be pretty vast. You can throw in the ultimates now that you've got them, though, so that's at least their one saving grace.
That it is.
Oh,
if
they're
they
going
can
up.
hit a big Riptire, this could be big, but they're going to have to get through Set's immortality.
This is going to be impossible. How do you hit a Riptire on this? How do you?
Yeah,
you might be able to get
true.
it up there, but like you said, immortality's there. The Blizzard's never gonna. If you snipe a Blizzard up here, I'll buy your team pizza tonight. Like Parasol, if you manage to do that, you know, more power to you. But I just don't think that's how things are gonna shake down. Slater does eventually drop those to catch the rotation coming in. Very smart rotation from Union County. Is now the Riptire is thrown in, as well as the Coalescence, everything to try and counter this Bastion, and it does! Taking down 2, the Resurrect's still there. Parasol just stops it in the nick of time as well with a flanked Blizzard. Union County, I can say it, should be seeing the end of this point, eh? Unless Miro just keeps doing this. We forgot about the Hanzo, Jogo. We forgot about the Hanzo. We forgot about the Hanzo. A third for them, as now it's DBL up against the May, but the spawns are coming in a lot faster for Bryant-Stratton because they were the first to die.
Oh my word. I cannot believe that Bryant-Stratton hang on to that point. Huge play coming out from Miro. Absolutely tremendous. That allowed their team to get back, and he opened that fight up with a couple of picks as well. So not only did he buy time for Union County to get back, but he gave them a win condition as well, and they grabbed it and ran with it.
Yeah, now they've got another one. I mean, they can just zone off so effectively with this amplification matrix, and they can keep people within range of virtually every LOS with the positioning of said amp matrix. Now you can recontest the high ground, take it away, make sure the soldier doesn't get any value. I love this playing from Set, understanding the value that does come with being up there and continually challenging it. Runs off that 4-minute clock, and now win condition clear. Just get point A.
Yeah. And not even the whole thing, just 33%. One tick is all it's going to take for Bryant-Stratton College of Virginia to take this point, or to take this map, right? And, you know, even
Wait,
even
can I
if they
call
run
something?
up
Can I call something real quick? We got
Oh,
20
yeah.
seconds. I need to just make a prediction so that when I'm right, I feel vindicated. Union County are 100% locking in a Bastion of their own. Like, this
Yeah.
is the point where there's like, you know, the sodium content of your blood just raises to unsafe levels, and you're like, all right, 2 can play at that game. I can sense it. Watch this. 3, 2, 1.
Ready for battle.
Oh, Crispy, don't play with me. I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
You
I
can
know
do
a
it, Crispy.
Bastion. I know a
You can do
Bastion
it,
team when I
Crispy.
see one. You're mad about that. Full hold.
Oh,
Ah.
the legs. The
Alas.
legs instead. The legs instead.
I can appreciate the restraint.
Right? Well, you know, Union County, this composition, again, I feel like it's a little disjointed. I'm going to use this word this time, because we got Parasol on the Echo, but no Mercy this time. And, you know, I think we've been maybe griefing a little bit on the backline of Union County, and unfortunately, I think we're going to have to do it again, because I think you need that Mercy in the sky for Parasol. Bryant-Stratton, Virginia, they look to be coming out with the Bastion once again, so maybe that should have been your prediction, Dor.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They'll teleport it right into place, and you got zero. Our cameraman can't even find the Bastion right now. There they
Right?
are, sneaking around the side lane. Yeah, you have to enable the overlay to find him. That's just how sneaky Bryant-Stratton have been. Oh no, Union County have to know something's up now too. Look at them, they're cowering all the way back at point. They know exactly what's coming their way. It is going to be pretty hard to actually pull off though, because remember, Hanzo Echo, that's a lot of damage to throw at a Bastion, even when you put double shield in its way. There still isn't a Diva, which kind of sucks, but there is still plenty of damage, and it's literally just a race to who can shred through one another fastest. Now, with that high ground, they see exactly what's going on. Teleport in, turrets on, Miro in a lot of danger, but not too much as they drop down to the low ground. Union County have them surrounded. They just have to use these off angles to deal with them appropriately. Landing the sticky mines, landing the damage, but it does not take down the Bastion. They weren't able to deal with the immortality field of Bryant-Stratton, and with that goes away their hopes of winning a map number 2. Cleanly done by BNSVA. Union County have got to answer with their backs against the wall.
That they do. Conga line to start things out for Bryant-Stratton on their attack. You're gonna lead to a very quick victory for them. Excellent heads-up play from. Love to see that teleporter strat. You know, that's exactly what you want to do against a bunker composition, right? They thrive on poke, and if you take that poke away, there's not much left that they can do.
Yeah, Union County actually played it pretty well, right? Forcing the Bastion out of the low ground. Puts you in a great position because they can't TP again. And then if your Echo takes an off angle on the roof, you're in a fine place. The Hanzo can do the same, taking an off angle on point, and then you shoot at them from above point and over top of the roof. But they kind of just all shot at them from on top of the coffee shop, and thus it was pretty easy for the Bastion. Just hold down that left click button, mow down 3 people, and the point's already yours. Nicely done by BSCVA. Just one more map, and they seem to be coming pretty quick.
That they do. We're gonna have to see if UCC can pull themselves back into this one, if they can stop the juggernaut that is BSCVA. But before we see that potentially final map, we're gonna throw it to a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Nice little halftime break. Got yourself some water. Got yourself some juice in order to continue our way into the second half of this best of 5. That being said, it might only end up being 3 games. We'll see exactly how well BSCVA can do heading into the latter half, but so far it's been pretty dominant.
That it has. It feels, yeah, I'm feeling a bit of deja vu here, Dor, from our last map. And, you know, to speak a little bit more to that, I would love, once again, I said this at the beginning of the match, to see a matchup between Nova and BSCVA, because I think that would be an absolute barn burner. UCC, they still are in this. They still have an opportunity to bring this back. And as we head to Assault, I'm going to be curious to see what they pick, because I think that, you know, the map pick it's very important. I'll just say that for each of these teams.
We saw exactly what happened last time.
Very plain.
Yeah. Look, they locked Hanamura and they got Hanamured. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Good way.
Yeah, there's a lot of mean stuff you can do if you give the other team the right opportunity. And it's hard because, right, you're going to beat 2-0. You have to assume the other team is in some way better than you, at least in one category. And so identify what the biggest category is there and then try and take them to a map that counters it. Right now, the biggest thing I'm seeing is just BSCVA being really abusive of the fact that they have better game sense. So UCC is coming in, and they're not checking corners. They're not playing clean. They're taking a lot of things for granted, right? You see this a lot whenever people smurf and stuff, right? They'll play Roadhog. They'll just be on the flank for 9 years, be in places they're not allowed to be. And right now, BSCVA is in a lot of places they're not allowed to be because UCC is not used to removing people from those places. They're not used to having to go and exterminate the cockroaches that live in the corners that no one ever checks. But BSCV are the cockroaches in the corners that nobody ever checks, and they look a lot like Bastion. So you need to start doing those things. So think about clean gameplay, think about checking every corner, think about making sure that BSCVA, if BSCVA is doing something that you don't normally see it for a reason. It's because there's a way to counter it. You just have to think, take a second, figure it out, execute on it. It's hard, especially when they're kind of bullying you and doing those things. It can be very mentally taxing, which is what makes it so difficult to counter when you see these kinds of matchups. But if you can collect yourself, take this halftime, talk it through with your team, it's totally doable.
It absolutely is. I think, you know, and I think we saw glimmers of that in Hollywood, right? Because we saw, you know, BSCVA doing things they're not supposed to do, right? Like bunkering up at the bottom of the stairs, right? Right after that first choke. And we did see UCC. They had
the right idea.
They had the right idea.
They just only a little bit. Yeah. I mean, had there been the Maywall a little later, had they vertical Maywalled in front of the Bastion, had they had a Diva, had the Zarya bubbles been timed like an inch better,
Yeah.
that team would have been on point, and there would have been no counter because the Bastion could maybe rotate up the high ground, and then you just play beneath them, and it's not a problem anymore. So that was like, it's a one-trick pony, or it's a one-trick for per play, I suppose, in those situations. But clearly they've got the brains to solve it. Like you said, that was a really telling tale of UCC's understanding of the game. Clearly they know what to do. Execution falls a little bit here and there, but if they can find more of those fights, or they go in with the right idea, or they understand their win condition quickly, one of these times they're going to execute on it. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah. We are going to be headed to the frigid northern wastelands of Volskaya Industries' door. So this is going to be where Union County tries to mount their final defense, their final attempt at staving off Bryant-Stratton, Virginia's tear through their team. Union County going to be on defense first as well.
I actually really like this option from Union County. I think it's solid. I think it's really, really hard to cheese. Like, Bryant-Stratton, if you're playing on the flank here, there's a lot of ways to stop you from doing it. On the defending side, it might be tough for Union County to actually break through Bryant-Stratton on their own defensive side, but at least they get to do theirs first. They lock in a wonderful composition for it as well. I've been preaching about the Torbjorn on TCP since the beginning of the day. They're bringing it out to fight. Alongside Parasol is going to take some wonderful off angles. This is a pretty solid comp outside of maybe this tank line that struggles a little bit more to survive, but up against the dive that's being offered up by Bryant-Stratton, it might actually just get the job done.
It very easily could. Well, I want to make sure that we get a couple of swaps that happen. We've got Miss Pachas in for Union County College, and Crispy in, or rather Sokev in for Crispy on the other side of the aisle. We're going to see a dive composition coming out from Bryant-Stratton for their attack, and I like this idea here. Union County with a double off take. This is very interesting. Dive comes in.
I mean, this is ye old double shield, but you got to know how to run it. Bryant-Stratton thus far not really showing that. They throw out one bubble, waiting for the next one on to Narwhal so that they can dive in. No, instead Union County are diving on them. Something's knocked off the high ground, or their legs have just given into the intrusive thoughts and walked off in their own right. Seems like the same thing will happen to the Mercy as she goes careening into the water, and Bryant-Stratton take over a point A.
That was very quick, almost clinical by Bryant-Stratton. This double bubble composition usually takes a lot longer to get rolling, right? To get ready. Typically, you want to build up that nano boost, build up that Zarya charge and everything, but they just went for it and they're rewarded with 8-point capture. Now, the snowball effect is absolutely possible because Bryant-Stratton, they're going to have this nano about a little way through this next fight. This immortality field, I think, from Junior Plays is going to have to be absolutely massive.
Yeah, I'm not seeing too many ways. This is one of those fights where you end with such just a vast difference in ultimate charge that it makes the preceding one. This is why we're removing 2 CP from the game. That's exactly what this fight's about to be. One dive in, a nano boost almost up. It's almost definitely going to go onto the Genji the second they get it. Narwhal's tanking a bit of damage just to make sure that they have it. There it is, nano onto the Genji. Second point is all but free. Thank God Overwatch 2 beta starts soon. Juggle God, this is something I am not at all tired of seeing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be happy when we don't have to deal with this anymore. As is Union County, I'm sure they're really feeling it right now.
Oh, they just get grabbed.
Yeah.
This is vintage 2CP, man. You can't escape it. I mean, there's contest, but you're probably gonna be knocked off. Mercy can't res, no shot. Yeah, a little bit of time off the clock, but this is the 2CP effect in about as full force as you could possibly ask it to be. Good control by Narwhal. Do like the juggle, a couple of short hops being thrown in. This is what you like to see from Winston. A little bit of mechanics, maybe one more. No shot, just to kill with the monkey fist. This has been an impressive stagger, I'll be honest. It's been about a minute off the clock, but
yeah,
not much
you do
more
have to
than that.
Congratulate Union County on that, absolutely. A tremendous showing from
my God,
them.
they're still going.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I mean, considering that, Bryant-Stratton probably came in with, maybe even approaching 6 minutes on the clock for that fight. The fact that they were able to burn off, we're just going to call it 6 minutes, so we're going to say a minute and a half. Very good staggers from Union County. They were able to get a couple picks here and there, and but they weren't enough, right? They weren't enough for that spawn advantage to start to have an effect. They needed 1 or 2 more in order to hold on there, and they just weren't quite able to do it. Bryant-Stratton just had... I would say that time that they didn't play it perfect, right? They allowed a couple of their members to get picked, but they didn't allow too many of them to get picked, and that was the difference maker right there. They were able to ride that line And I think that's why, as well, it took Bryant-Stratton so long to capture it, is because Union County was able to get a pick here and there. But they just weren't able to quite get their feet underneath them. Now, this is the do or die moment for Union County. Their attack has to be fantastic here.
Robots chilling, vibing. They don't know the chaos that ensues on this 2CP map. Maybe it's jail. Maybe they're just watching us, making sure we're not allowed to leave 2CP. They're watching.
That is a terrifying thought right there. That is.
Yes, our observers found the FOV button. What a great time.
That's very dystopia feeling.
It's not gonna be a great time. Maybe more dystopian for Union County. We'll see how this first push goes. They have locked in a little bit of double bubble themselves. A composition that's not the easiest to execute, but not the hardest either. If you find those bubble rotations, like you said, be patient going into the first fight, building up a nano boost while you're at it. You can put your team in a pretty good position.
You absolutely can. We're going to see the dive come in from Chubbs, and that's going to start things for Union County. Let's see if Bryant-Stratton can hold them off.
Dive to one side, Chubbs deciding where to go next. You're looking at that attacking ultimate charge. There's no nano boost to play the neutral game for because they have Mercies and Yadas. So the composition definitely makes a lot less sense after you recognize that, but the dive still is there. It's on to the Winston, but the Winston has plenty of support. Set's Ana is built up 50% of a nano boost thus far, and there's not so much as a whisper from Union County.
No, there's not. An excellent play coming out there. And I do have to agree with you. I think this is a little bit of a composition difference right here. Right? I think... Well, actually, I'm going to take that back. I think that
I think you're right. No, it's hard to overestimate the importance of the
difference. Yeah, I think the comp difference is going to come into play this fight. Right? I think we saw the individual plays popping off for that first one. Now we're going to see the comp difference come into play here for Bryant-Stratton.
Yeah, I mean, the second that Ana comes online, the longer the fights go, the better the Ana is. The Valkyrie from Miss Potches should actually be the first ultimate up, so it's going to give you a little bit of time. And actually, there's an opening where the Pulse Bomb comes up as well that you could try and get in on. But as I say, Bryant-Stratton are already building up the ultimates faster. They're doing more damage in the fight. They're taking more damage and more effectively putting it onto the Ana. Now they have a nano to work with, and they can look to re-engage because they look pissed. Narwhal into the backline. Has the Primal Rage. They don't even need to use the nano. This one's just to get a little extra out of the push.
That it is. We're going to see Narwhal play very aggressive as well, getting a little extra damage and seeing if they can chase down this Zarya. Primal Rage now used because I think they bit off a little bit more than they can chew, but they may in fact get a pick for it. But Oval going down very low for Bryant-Stratton. They're going to have to back off 6 health to their name, and with that, they fall.
I love it because you could see on OVL's face they started trying to boost themselves with the right clicks, realized they were low, and then got to the soldier and just couldn't help themselves from letting one more rip. Like, they were holding back. They knew they would die to it. They saw the soldier and it was just like, oh, I gotta do it. I gotta press the button. The punish. It's tough out here, but Union County are looking all right. With that spawn advantage, they push Bryant-Stratton out of position. Both teams popping about means they both have a fair bit of sustain going into this. Or 1 DPS going down. It should be a pretty long fight actually going into the rest. Good pick on the Parasol though, and now Union County are lacking severely in damage. Bryant-Stratton have a big advantage in that they've got that Zarya charged up. Tubbs is a mile away underneath here, and it's not going to be able to help the Sports who fall next. 1:23 on the clock, and Union County have got to find the gas pedal.
That they do. And unfortunately, that gas pedal only has a transcendence behind it at the moment. They're going to have to take this next fight kind of slow, but they've also swapped compositions now over to this like hybrid brawl composition. But again, this backline just too weak, I think, to really sustain them through these fights, especially because Set has the nano.
Yeah, especially with a Reinhardt. I mean, you either trance to save yourself from the Nano Monkey, or you trance your Reinhardt in. There's no both, right? And you're not happy with either of them because, if one happens, the other won't, and you need both of them to happen. Later into the back line, though, as they use that Nano boost and still take down Miss Potches. The Transcendence is late, and it's disaster for Union County because even through all that, the main tank falls. So Kev is starting to pop off, though. Picks up a third in the fight. The Soldier takes it into their own hands in order to win this one. Union County are not done yet.
No, they are not. That was a fantastic set of plays coming out from Union County. I think that was Bryant-Stratton making a mistake, pushing too far forward, getting a little overconfident. And when you get overconfident, that's when mistakes happen, and that's Union County taking advantage of that. Union County is a smart team. They know opportunities when they see them. We've seen them try to take them in the past. This time, it worked.
I've got to work on point B, and they don't have the same comfy advantage that Bryant-Stratton had. 2 CP gods are not in their favor this time. A lot of ultimates up on the red side. Virtually nothing to work with on the blue. I mean, you can build them up as much as you want here. Chubbs is 40% though. Tubbs 40%. Maybe you get a pulse bomb, but this is by far a better position for Bryant-Stratton, who can basically end the fight whenever they want.
Yeah, and with SoCav out of the fight now, that's effectively over. Parasol going down as well means no DPS online for Union County, and Bryant-Stratton just takes this.
Yeah, I don't think you needed the grab, but I think they're feeling pretty confident in themselves either way. And with swaps coming in, SoCav going on to a Junkrat as well, I think it's going to make things a little trickier. You do want to get out of here. I don't think Tracer Junkrat's something Marvel's comfortable fighting, and recognizes that, gets out. Bryant-Stratton still feeling pretty good, but Union County are starting to come up on those ults.
Yeah, that they are. They've got a few. A stick comes in. Parasol able to find Miro.
That's what you get for trying to play in the fight. It's like I was talking about. Remember, they're not allowed to be there. Just figure out how to make them not be there anymore, and you'll punish them really effectively. Immediately running to point, trying to carry this momentum into a point cap are Union County, but maybe getting a little bit too big for their britches as they overextend into Bryant-Stratton.
Yeah, you know, I think the better play right there for Union County would have been to wait, get your supports back, and then start to push in, right? Bryant-Stratton, they're going to have the spawn advantage still, but you want to be able to at least take a fight on even footing there, right? Which is what that would have allowed, rather than taking the fight on the back foot, which is what they did. And now, Bryant-Stratton, because of that, able to build up to 5 ultimates. They didn't really need to use any in that last fight.
I smell a pulse bomb. Oh, there's Slep too. Just going to pulse bomb the Slep then. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Oh, no, you don't pulse bomb it. That's nice. At least you don't cyberbully that hard. Bryant-Stratton, though, don't even need ultimate to do this one. They'll pop them all, though, anyways. Deadeye to finish off the fight, and Nano to finish off the fight. We'll throw in a Primal Rage while we're at it. It's like a, you know, Car Palooza or Toyotathon, right? Just get everything you want.
Yeah, and, well, at this point, Bryant-Stratton has expended just about everything they have. So whether or not, you know, they may want some of that back, because right now Union County has 3 ultimates, and crucially, Miss Pacha, she has this Valkyrie, and that can be used to, you know, charge some of these other ultimates to get them back into play.
All right, 3 on the deck, 3 on the board. Union County stepping up, immediately popping the Valk. They still have this grab, but it's so hard to land. So many of these squirrely characters that Bryant-Stratton have locked in are really hard to hit with it to begin with. But Union County have been the ones to pop their ultimates, holding it a little bit too long. Are Bryant-Stratton not using the sound barrier, not keeping themselves up in order to. Union County now have the point, but they have to take out these staggers. We know how long these can get based off that last push, and given the time that Bryant-Stratton have had to spawn, it could get bad. There's a pulse bomb on deck for Slater. There's a Tracer still on the field. There's a Graviton in play, and it's trades either way, but that is far worse for the attacking side. This is 2 CP in full effect. Bryant-Stratton have mastered it.
That they have. They're coming back in this fight. Overtime has been ticked over. There's just one member of Union County still on point. They're not going to be able to hold on, and that's going to be Bryant-Stratton College of Virginia taking this best of 5 in 3.
I mean, like, the 2 CP gods sometimes just shine down upon you. The beams, the rays of light from heaven above say, you know what, you get to take 6 ultimates into point B while the other team has none. And you just have to deal with that. And then sometimes it says you have none while the opposing side has all of them. Of course, there is not just luck involved in this, hardly luck, to be completely honest. But it is tough when you're playing against a team as oppressive as Bryant-Stratton, who really understand how to take advantage of it and make your life miserable. It was beautifully played by them. The ultimate economy kind of nailed it down, but also their disrespect for the opposing side, for lack of a better word, really gave them a foot up in the fight, right? A number of times they were in on the flank, they were on off angles, they were taking advantage of the fact that UCC weren't checking those kind of things, and so they take away a win.
They do, and you know, I do have to commend UCC, because over the course of the match, especially in the last half of Volskaya, we saw them starting to adapt, right? They started to call out BSCVA for some of these for some of this bullying, right? For some of this egregious play, really, that was coming out from them, and they started to see some success. If we'd seen more of that earlier on, this could be an entirely different story, but that's not the tale of the tape today, Dor. It's going to be BSCVA coming away with the 3-0 win in almost, I think, as dominant fashion as we saw Nova take their game as well. But we're going to throw to a short break as we get an interview ready. Right before we do that, any words you want to leave the audience with while we get that ready, Dor?
Look, man, Overwatch 2 beta is coming soon, but we're already playing Overwatch 3.0.
All right, well, with that, we're going to throw to a short break. We're going to let you ponder those words from Dor. We will be right back.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. A wonderful, quick little 3-0 to finish off the night, at least of Overwatch. And now we've got a wonderful interview with us, of course, OBL in game, now in the booth. We get to interview you. First off, okay, those were quick games. This interview might take more time than any of those maps individually did. How does it feel to end so succinctly?
Well, that game was really fun. I'll say that. I know the other team. I'll give them props. They were.
I don't think they can mirror that.
They might not share the same opinion as you on that. I'm just gonna take a wild guess there.
Yeah, I do give them props. They're one of the better teams we've played. So, yeah, I'll give them props for that. But it was very fun to actually play with people that get towards the objective. So, it was it was somewhat fun.
Excellent. Well, I want to ask a little bit about, looking into the future, right? You're clearly at the top of your group here. We just saw a very dominant looking Nova team as well. Do you think they could provide you with a challenge if you happen to see them during the later half of this season, or if you see them in the playoff bracket?
Well, with how today went, I don't really think so. I think we're the best team. I think we're the best team in the league, and I think for the rest of the season, I think we're not even going to drop a map to a single team.
Woo, wow. Big words. Hey, would you love to see it with performances like that? You guys look fantastic. I can't imagine you're running Bastion every team you're playing up against, unless correct me if you guys are. But I'm excited to see you guys in a more competitive mindset, because if this is what you're doing, I mean, it clearly spells a lot to your individual skill, to your ability as a team. What's the practice regimen like for you guys, though, in order to keep yourself at the top?
Well, we do a lot of team bonding. Like we've kind of shortened up on the scrims, but more with team bonding. So we all get along very well, and it's very easy for us in game to just come up with comps and have fun in game. Because I feel like that's the most important aspect, is to have fun. Because when you're having fun, it's not as troubling in game. And it gives you an advantage over other teams. So.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fun, I want to talk a little bit now about some of the fun that you and your team are having in your server. I understand that you're starting some tournaments that may even have some prizes.
Yeah, we have a couple tournaments going on within the next month. I think that the next 2 tournaments includes Rocket League, and I believe there's one more. I can't remember. But then I know next month there's also going to be an Overwatch FFA tournament that might be coming. So always got to look out for those. And there are prizes to those.
Sweet. I mean, exciting stuff in the Discord. If you guys are going to BSCVA, be sure to check them out. Join the club. Get in contact with everybody there. Maybe just one day you'll see yourselves on one of these streams. But for today, it's just Obi left on the stream. And Obi, I need you to picture this because I don't have a physical one. I can't really hand it to you over the internet. But a beautiful, handcrafted wooden soapbox for you to stand on. A shout out your mom, your dad, your teachers, your teammates, your coaches. I don't care who it is. You've got a couple of seconds to let it out.
All right, definitely follow the school Twitter. It's BSC Esports VA. That's our Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm OBL_OW. I also stream. The school also streams. The broadcast for that is BSC Bobcats Esports. Make sure you just follow all of our socials. Join the Discord. And you could always talk to us. We're always down to play. We're cool guys. So let us know.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in. Congratulations on the win again, Obi.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, and that's our Overwatch for the night. But Jogo, give him a taste. I need your infomercial best sell of what we've got coming up next.
Oh my gosh. Well, first I need to find out what we have coming up next, and that is going to be League, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be League coming up next, which I can't believe. Fantastic game. I love to play it. Over 140 champions that you can choose from. So if you can't find a champion that works for you, clearly you're doing something wrong. So we're going to see some League coming up next between New York Tech and Damon College. Almost spelled demon. So I think that could be a very tough team to come up against. Some demonic plays going to be coming out from that side. But let's see if New York Tech can brain it out and figure out how to stop them from coming back and taking that series for their own. It's going to be Ravish and Huey coming on the mic for you. That's going to be up right after this door. Any final words before we close things out?
Nah, man, you guys enjoy the league. The Overwatch has been fun. 3-0s abound. Enjoy your time until Overwatch 2, but we'll be seeing you guys later.